Well, good evening, good afternoon, or good morning, wherever you are. This is Michael Wolf Grafstein, affectionately known as Matrix Mike. And today I want to continue on what I talked about in my last video about, uh, I forgot for a second, primal states and powerful states. So last time I spent a little bit more time on the what we call the primal states, the fear, the anxiousness, self-doubt, and all those types of things. Today I want to switch it around. You saw that? Switch it around, and I want to talk about powerful states. What exactly is a powerful state, and how can it help you? How can it truly help you be a better athlete, be more empowered? So, things along the lines of love, joy, fulfillment, that type of a thing. Those are very powerful states because when you're doing what you love and you love what you're doing and the sport that you're playing, you have a tendency to give a little bit more because of that amazing emotion behind what you are doing. So, joy, love. And if you take a look around and if you look at the majority of the top high-end athletes, when they play their sport, yes, they are focused and they are confident. And one of the major underlying things about it is they absolutely love doing it. Forget about the money that they make. Obviously, that's a part of it. But the ones that truly embrace the joy and the love of playing will absolutely take their game to the next level because as a self-empowered athlete, they realize that when they're participating in their sports, mistakes is part of it. That's right. Mistakes. They learn from their mistakes. They want to get better because they have this pure love for the sport. One of the athletes that comes to mind that I was fortunate enough to see when I was a little bit younger was Michael Jordan in basketball. He absolutely loved playing. And the thing is, I'm pretty sure people know the story about him, is that he was cut, I believe, from his grade 10 high school basketball team. So what did he do? Because he had such a passion for the sport, he took the time and the energy to make himself better. Now, regardless, not everybody's going to be a Michael Jordan, but you can almost take and adapt that same type of mindset for you if you love what you're doing, regardless if you're in a team sport or if you're in an individual sport. And sometimes when you're in an individual sport, it may be a little bit more challenging because you're doing it for yourself, and it's really important to have those people that are around you, the supportive people around you. Where in a team sport, many times you have your teammates that are pumping you up and helping you get to that next level as you are doing it with them. So I just want to remind you again, you know, get as best as you can. You want to get into that very powerful sport, or sorry, powerful state, the state of loving what you're doing, the joy that you get from it. And sometimes it may not feel like that, and that's part of the process because sometimes you need to go a bit out of your comfort zone. So, one of the things you can do and to maybe help your visualization be a bit better. I know the other uh, video that I did, we talked about looking at the less than positive state, then we went into the powerful state. Well, this time we're just going to go into the powerful state. So, what you can do, one of the things I suggest, and that is really powerful, is focus on the process. Focus on actually seeing yourself taking the steps that you need to do to get you to where you want to go. You definitely can see an end game picture and visualize at the end. That's fine. And you can take a snapshot of it and you need to work to it, and it is incredibly important as well that you focus on the process. One of the things that I have learned and one of the things that I have seen with athletes is those that want to get better, that are nervous, that have fear, that have that quote unquote performance anxiety, as soon as they start to focus on the process, focus on the steps, learning each way, it's almost like one step gets you here, one step gets you here. Maybe you take one step back, but then you take another two steps up and you're going a little bit more. What I notice is the more you focus on the process, the more successful you're going to be. Because if you continue, and you see I'm doing this, the cycle of focusing on the process, what happens when you get into your sport, whether it be individual, whether it be a team sport, what starts to happen, the processes start to compound, they multiply. In other words, you start to learn a new skill. You get put into a new situation. And because of what you've done previously in the past by focusing on the process, it almost becomes automatic that you are just focusing on it. And with that, you're also focusing on a positive outcome with it. So I'm just briefly going to have you just close your eyes for a moment. And I want you to actually go back. And this time, I want you to think about something that you did in sport. It can be small, it can be big, it doesn't matter, was where you had a successful outcome. It could be as simple as in hockey, going in and stealing the puck from somebody else. In basketball, it could be as simple as just doing a really simple layup. Gymnastics, maybe it's just a real simple cartwheel or a somersault. You get the idea, or you're up at bat. Instead of striking out, what you do is maybe you hit a ground ball or a fly ball for a base hit. It is something that simple. And as your eyes are closed, I just want you to go back and I want you to retrace each and every single step that you can think of that led to you making that positive impact, the steps that you took, the process that you took. And I want you to go over that over and over and over and over again in your mind. And I want you to do this until you get to a point where you know, without even thinking about it, where you can step in and do the same thing over and over and over again. And again, when we're talking about these primal and powerful states. We're in these states for as long as we possibly can. Sorry, the powerful states. Being in the primal state is a choice. And so is also being in a powerful state. So if we continue to just focus on the processes with a positive outcome, focus on the processes with a positive outcome over and over and over again, and seeing yourself taking those steps, step one, step two, steps three, and also accept that something may go awry, something may go wrong, and that's okay. But because you have taken those steps and gone through those processes over and over and over again, you're now able to quickly get the benefit of moving forward and overcoming whatever mistake that was made or whatever less than positive thing happened. Because what's been happening now is you are starting to train your nervous system, the wiring in your brain, your computer system, however you want to look at it, your phone system. You're starting to train it to look for opportunities, to look for a more positive outcome, for you to have the ability to recover quicker from a mistake and not get down on yourself, that type of a thing. So remember, we have our primal states, which are less than positive, which we talked about in the last video. You can go back and look at that. And we have our powerful states. And the key again with the powerful states, it's a choice. And we want to relive something. Even if it was something small, we do it over and over and over again. It's almost like you're building a new pathway. So one person, and then you do it again, you bring somebody else, and then somebody else, and somebody else. And these pathways in here, because they are positive, they get bigger and bigger and bigger to the point they're almost like a highway in your brain of all this positivity. So if something goes a bit to the side, you can correct yourself and keep on going over and over again. Give this a go, see how it works. And if you feel like it, comment below and let me know what happened. Thanks again for watching. My name is Michael Wolf Grafstein, affectionately known as Matrix Mike, and welcome to the Self Empowered Athlete Hypnotic Journey. Bye for now.